Hi, thanks for joining us. I'm here with Gina Porter from GG Luxury Travel, and we are here to have a conversation about an African safari experience.
I'm so excited, Darby. Thank you for inviting me to join you. Africa is one of my most favorite destinations.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're helping me with this presentation, and we're collaborating and showing our clients what a great vacation and life experience a safari can be. So we will start. We're going to go through just a few of the destinations that you could do on the safari because there is a lot more out there than we have time to cover today. So our first stop is Cape Town, South Africa. So Gina, tell me about your experience in Cape Town.
Such a beautiful city. I really didn't know what to expect. I went to Africa, South Africa. I guess it's been 2 years ago now. And Africa really wasn't on my personal list radar. But all of my clients and all of my partners were always telling me that it was this life-changing experience. So I decided, which I didn't really get, but I decided to go for a conference there in Cape Town, and got there in the evening and woke up and looked out my window and was just in awe. It's the most beautiful city, truly. It's with the coastline and the mountains and the architecture. It's just this metropolis in the middle of amazing nature. And I was so pleasantly surprised. So loved Cape Town. You could spend a whole week in Cape Town. There is adrenaline and adventure. There were paragliders everywhere. People were paragliding every day,
Amazing.
all over. It was truly, it's so cool. You know, you can do so many things in the water, from cage diving with great white sharks, hiking Table Rock Mountain. Do you have a GoPro, Darby?
No, I don't.
This is a place to take your GoPro. Some pretty amazing photos, especially if you are an active person.
Yeah, when my clients went to Cape Town, they just loved it. They went up, took the cable car up Table Mountain and got to experience that. And then went along the coastline. They wanted to do the shark cage diving.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the weather didn't kind of permit them to do it. But later in our presentation, we have a short little clip of a video of some travelers doing that. So
yeah, that's not uncommon. You kind of want to build a couple days there so you can, if the weather's bad one day, you can go the next day. I've had clients also miss cage diving because of the weather. But outside of Cape Town, you also have the wineries, the vineyards, and that's a whole nother day. And Stellenbosch vineyards, there's so many beautiful vineyards out there. And one thing that I didn't expect, maybe I should have as a travel advisor, but it just surprised me when I got there, is the Dutch architecture is all over the city and in the vineyards. And it's just truly unique and beautiful. So, that's something to see in Cape Town.
yeah, I know my clients got to go experience the Kirstenbosch Botanical Gardens, and it's amazing because there is so much, different. There's 6 different biomes in that one park, and if you love flowers and gardening and any type of unique flora, you can see it there. And it kind of, you have the ocean there, and then you have the amazing wildlife that we'll get into later on. It's just, you can almost it's something for everybody in this destination.
There really is. A lot of people call it the most amazing city in the world, and it's definitely high on my list. Put it on your bucket list for sure.
Yes, definitely. So as we go into Cape Town, we have just a short clip of a video here, just to show you kind of what the landscape looks like, and we'll show it now. I know the city center is pretty amazing too, just to, all the different neighborhoods they have there. Um, and, it's kind of the first place where, Nelson Mandela addressed the South Africans when he was released from prison in 1990. So it was, it's amazing, where you can just do so much there.
Yeah, and one thing that I didn't do, and I have sent clients there, but to go out to Robben Island definitely should be on your list. That's Nelson Mandela spent 18 years. That's where he was imprisoned. So that's a great half-day trip.
Mhm.
Interesting history there.
Right, and another place, there's you can see the penguins out around
Mhm.
that area too.
Yeah, there's so
So,
much even outside of Cape Town. I mean, you can spend days exploring the city, but from the vineyards to the Cape, out to the coastline, and everything's pretty close. So look at that arena. It's magnificent. It's beautiful.
I can't wait to go there. I have, years ago, I was like, I don't know if I would be something I would want to do, but now it's like top on my bucket list to, get to, the continent of Africa and just see all the amazing, wildlife. And I think they say it's life changing when you go and you see it.
I said that before and I didn't believe it because I heard that too. It truly is. Truly. I mean, the whole part, just being in Africa, there's something that stirs your soul for sure. So I'll go with you.
Okay, that sounds great. And anyone else that wants to come with us, please do.
That's sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Now we're gonna just show you some more pictures of, so Kruger National Park is one of the you know, popular parks to see wildlife in, South Africa. Though there is some smaller parks too that, you can go to. So it kind of depends on you what you want to experience,
Mhm.
while you're there. And we as travel advisors can help you, decide which is the best park for you and your family, like who's traveling with you, and, what do you want to see? Um, Things like that. So have you been to Kruger?
I have, and this area is huge. And you're right. There's a lot of different conservation areas. Some are privately owned, some are part of the park, but they have taken down the fences. So for a lot of them, so the animals roam and migrate through the area. But yes, you definitely want to pick and choose like which lodges you're staying at. There's levels of guides and how many people are in the area with you. So you don't want to see more people and vehicles than you do animals, right? So yes, we can definitely help guide people to pick that right lodge and right guides for seeing the big five. And I was definitely able to see the big five, which is lion, leopard, rhino, elephant, and Cape buffalo. I was only in the Kruger for 2.5, 3 days, and we saw all big five.
Yeah, I think the best thing is when going on the safaris, you get to do that early morning and then evening, safari drives. So you get to, see the different animals that are out at the different times,
Right.
where some might not be out in the morning, but they may be out, in the evening, and the guides know where, to see the animals.
Right. It makes for a really relaxing holiday. It seemed like you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be getting up early, but you do get up early for the game drives. It's really nice, and usually you get out before the sun comes up, and then you see the animals stirring in the morning, and then like your guide will pull over and surprise you with tea and coffee and scones, or you'll be out in the bush and have breakfast or just a light bite, and then come back to your lodge and have a big breakfast or really relax all day by the pool or sitting out and looking at just the animals that are roaming around the lodge. You can have a spa treatment if you like, but it's really, you kind of relax all day and then go out before dinner, go out again on the game drive as the sun goes down. and then have a wonderful, amazing dinner. And then you go to bed and do it again the next day. It's really makes for a very relaxing and amazing, because you see things, that are, it's not going to the zoo.
Well, and I think too, like during the time you can also go on guided bushwalks too, so you can
You
see the
can,
different
yes.
flora and fauna,
And
that,
birding.
you might not see right out, in the open bush, but the guides are, really experienced. And, if you have an interest in some sort of like flower or things like that, they can, help you find it. And they know all about what are the plants used for? Are they used for, medicine? Are they used, for food? And what animal eats these and, what doesn't? So it can be really educational too, even for anyone for all ages.
Right. And that's good to know, like what your interests are as you're planning a safari, because like if you are an avid birder, or you are into flora and fauna, or you just, are dying to see that leopard, that really plays into where you want to go.
Now, our next slide, we actually have a short video from one of our suppliers that does a lot of safaris for us, and it shows, just the game drive in the morning and to the evening. So let's see. Some of the video is a little graphic, so just so you know, the animals are living their life, what they do best.
We saw a lot of lions at night. That's when the lions were roaming. They're hiding during the day.
Yeah, it just would be amazing.
Look at that.
I think I couldn't tell if that was a giraffe, but maybe it's just a tree.
Oh, that's a kill.
Yes.
That
I
graphic.
was watching, I said, well, this is graphic, but that's okay. But even you see the smaller animals like the porcupine too. Now they're out, in the day and seeing
Right.
other animals now.
Look at that.
Amazing to be able to see the babies too. Did you see giraffes?
Yep. We did. Lots of zebra. They sleep a lot.
It's amazing how close they are to these animals that you would not want to step out of the truck.
No. But the guides know, like they know the prides, the lions, and where they, they've named them all. They know their names and where they've been, kind of their migration path. It's and their history. It's interesting, really interesting. Seeing it from all angles here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's where they come and show us the shark cage diving.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I can't.
I haven't done this yet, but I hear
I think I'd want to do that too.
the trip out to the cage diving is almost as frightening as the actual cage diving. So you don't want to be, you want to take your Dramamine.
Yeah, right. Now we're gonna move over to Botswana, which is another, area of Africa that you can see, a lot of elephant herds. And Gina, have you sent clients to Botswana?
Yeah, I haven't been to Botswana myself, but I just had clients come back from Botswana. And here, this is where, like, if you really want an exclusive experience, the numbers are kept low here as far as tourists. And so you could really be out and not see anyone else and just be seeing animals. It's a very exclusive. The camps can be very, where you're just not in crowds of people. So
Yeah,
that's
I know, in some of my research looking, there's a Moremi Game Reserve,
Mhm.
and that was actually named in honor of the Botswana tribe members, the Chief Moremi and his wife. And it goes around the Octavino Delta. And, it has, all kinds of different woodlands and forests and lagoons and, rivers that you just do have a unique experience to, see some animals that you might not see, in another area of Africa,
Right.
just because they don't have that type of landscape.
Right. So I think the Delta is a UNESCO heritage site. Don't quote me on that for sure, but it's one of the only deltas that don't go into an ocean. So it's an inland river or not river, I guess you wouldn't call it, but the delta. So it floods like 3 times. The Savannah floods like 3
Mhm.
times a year. So it's just a really unique area, and the wildlife is just amazing viewing there.
Yeah, I imagine that you must, the migration through there,
Mm.
with the changes with the waters, must be, abundant. So,
Which is important to know what time of year you're going. Oh, sorry. So if you're particular about which animals to see, or again, if you're a fauna or you're birding, what you want to do, you want to know where the waters are. Is it dry? Is it flooding at the time? Where is the migration during the time of year you're wanting to go? So we can help pay attention to that so that you make the right choices of the time of year you want to travel.
this next is just a short video from Great Plains. They're a conservation company in Botswana. It just gives us a little preview of what this part of the country looks like. And as you can see, it's just very, it's quieter. There's, camps that are very rustic safari, or they can be deluxe, safari camps. And you can actually stay in sky beds here, where you can still, it's like a traditional blanket where you sleep under the stars.
This is just a very different landscape than Kruger with the water and the delta. So it's nice to have both. If you have the time, it's nice to have both in the itinerary, which is pretty easy to do. South Africa and Botswana together.
Yeah, where you could have, then you could really see a vast landscape of, different places. And then our next stop's going to be Victoria Falls, and that's almost like a really nice, loop that you can make.
Great loop. Just an abundance of animals in Botswana. So many. These photos are fantastic. I'm a terrible photographer. So
I know, even for photography enthusiasts,
It's-
this would be an amazing place to just get so many different, pictures of animals and plants and landscapes.
And the guides are very good at helping you with your photo safari and helping with photography. And then if you're like me and terrible at photography, the guide just handed us a zip drive of his photographs.
Right.
There's a great documentary on, I believe, Disney Plus, on the Okavanga Delta. It has about 5 or 6 episodes. It's a good place to go fall in love and start planning your trip.
Right. Another one of there's is it Chobe National Park in this area too, that's popular. But there's also, like we had said, private, a lot of private game reserves that you can go to and see that you'll really have not very many people there. And the camps can be very small too, where it's just,
Yeah.
you and maybe 1 or 2 other, families in it. So.
And we're going back to photography. I need to go to this lodge. There's a lodge and a supplier in Chobe that really focuses on photography. So their vehicles, their game drive vehicles are set up with stands where you can put your camera with the lenses on the stands, and they really guide you on capturing wildlife. And even if you don't have a fantastic camera, they have cameras there as well. So if you're into wildlife photography, we have some really great partners that really specialize in that, and you'll come home with some amazing pictures. And they're in Chobe, so it's.
Now we're going to move on to Zimbabwe, in Victoria Falls. I know this is another UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's just, an amazing destination to be able to see, this massive amount of water coming through. And it kind of depends on what time of year you go. The water levels will be different, and depending if it's rainy season or if it's dry season. So Gina, did you go to Victoria Falls?
Yes. And I'd say it's such a nice combination when you're out in the bush for a few days, and then like even to do between Botswana and the Kruger, it's kind of in the circle on the way, but it's just so different. I mean, you can still definitely do game drives and safari drives, but you have the water, you have the river. A lot of the camps are on the river. I chose to stay kind of upriver instead of in Livingston. If you're there for just to see the falls, it's great to just stay in Livingston. But if you have a couple of days, 2 or 3 nights, staying up the river, these lodges are just really peaceful and beautiful on the river. And so you get that just unique, different, again, a different landscape, a different perspective that you're combining as you make your way through South Africa. And if I know people just don't want to get in a helicopter, but if you can force yourself to get in a helicopter, this is the place to do it. It's amazing. So to see the rivers, see the falls from above, and then so the river comes and then it goes in the falls, and then it continues down, and it makes these huge canyons. And after you go over the falls in the helicopter just dives down into these canyons, and you just I felt like I was in Star Wars, going through the canyon. So it's a pretty amazing experience. So if you can, get your nerve up to get in a helicopter, this is the place to do it.
Falls in the Zambezi River, which we'll talk a little bit more about, because Gina's actually been kayaking on this river.
Rainbows everywhere all day.
This is just one of our suppliers in, South Africa. They're actually in Zimbabwe. And he went out there to the falls and just took this short video for us to, talk about, the life-changing experience it can be. So, and I'm just looking and I see that one of my slides is missing.
Uh-oh.
The picture of you guys on the river.
Oh,
So
Well-
tell us about it, Tina.
so we stayed at a lodge called Royals Chandu. It's a Relais and Chateau lodge, pretty far up the river. And all the camps in Africa are really good at surprising you. So we knew we were going kayaking, but we left that morning and went kayaking on the Zambezi. Really cool experience, and went through some villages along the way to get to our spot where we put the boats in or put the kayaks in. We kayaked for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then our guide just guides us over to the riverbank, and there's a gentleman standing and waving, and we pull our boats up on the riverbank, and there's this full picnic breakfast set out for us. And we had breakfast on the river, and then we hiked back to the lodge, and we were able to go through with amazing trees, which I should know the name of, but I don't. But these beautiful trees that I had never seen anything like. And so a really good guided hike back to the lodge, showing us all the flora and fauna along the way. So it's those kinds of experiences that the lodges and the guides and the partners that we use really bring the location to life and make it just really special.
Well, what else? There's so much more we can talk about this destination because there's so much kind of to see there, and it depends on, if you want a relaxing, adventure, or if you want a
Go full-
adrenaline, right, driven adventure. We can help
or a
you.
combination.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
Well, there might be some people in your traveling party that want to do the gorge swing and others that don't, they'd rather be, watching from the balcony,
Right.
overlooking the falls and, things like that. But
It is a wonderful destination, and don't think of it. I mean, it's I've been once, but there's so many places to see in Africa. You want to go back many times. So, and it doesn't take that long. It's not that bad getting there.
no, you can just do that stopover in Europe. And
Yeah, we have
really
fun.
fun.
We have ways to make that enjoyable too.
Right.
So definitely worth it. And to see the stars always when you're if you live in North America and you have the opportunity to see the Southern Cross and the stars in Africa, it's different and it's beautiful.
Well, I thank Eugenia for, spending this time to go over this wonderful destination. And Gina and I love to collaborate on things. So we hope that you enjoyed, this presentation, and, you can reach out to either of us if you want to learn more about, planning a trip there. So we thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again on another presentation.
Sounds great. This was fun.
Yes.